1943, Second World War, full swing. Holland occupied. My father's family, him and his two sisters and brother and his parents living in Amsterdam. And then the war, of course, changed everything. Then came 1943, when the Jews of Holland were being rounded up in large numbers. In fact, um, my father too and his family, all of his family, and there were many of them, also rounded up and placed into transition camps. There were a number of them in Holland. But then somehow my father managed to lie his way out, and instead of coming back as he had promised, he ran away. He made his way to France, which was also occupied, northern France, traveling at night, crossing rivers, swimming across rivers. There was just many obstacles in the way, and of course everywhere there were German patrols. So, and he managed then to find himself a hiding place in deep rural France, but he still had to live. He had to make money somehow to live, and he did that by hiding effectively in the Lion's Cave. In Beauvais, there is an airport, which the German, of course, used, and which was, by 1943 and 44, a regular target of bombing. And on one of those bombing raids, my father was hit by shrapnel, by a piece of a bomb, and effectively declared dead. And he was placed, together with others, in the morgue of a hospital, where at that time my mother was working, or not my mother-to-be was working, and she was a novice nun. She was intending to become a nun. And she was doing on duty, and that day she was on duty in the morgue. I don't know specifically what she was doing, but she saw one of the corpses twitching, and that corpse was taken out of the morgue and nursed back to life by my mother. So come 1945, and after my father, having joined the Allied forces, fought his way to Germany to free the rest of Europe from the German occupation, he wanted to marry my mother. She asked her, my mother-to-be asked her Mother Superior what to do. The Mother Superior said to her, well, you want to be a nun because you want to serve God. But you are also serving God by being married and having children. That too is a service to God. So you have my blessing. That is what the Mother Superior said. And so my mother then agreed to marry my father. And they were married for well over 50 years. My mother eventually dying in 1999 and my father in 2006. And after a very long and happy marriage. I have other things from my father and from my mother, but that came much later in their married life. They loved, for example, Delft, and you can see here items that I have from their house, or this lovely table and the lamps and the painting, which I have set up here together in order to kind of create a memorial corner to them. So whenever I look at this corner, I look at my parents and I see them and I feel them. One thing that survived from my grandparents is this plate I'm holding. This belonged to my grandparents, and it is the one thing that my father managed to retrieve after the war when he came back to Amsterdam, and it has, of course, been with us all these years, and it is now with me, and it will eventually be with my children, or one of them. And maybe they'll eat fish from it at some point. It was not just the plate that survived, but also some photos, thank goodness. Otherwise I would not even know what they looked like. Here is an interesting photo in France of my father in the same place, same time a photo of my mother. So this is when they would have met properly, and he was introduced to the family, to her family. They're both smiling. And it's a great picture, this. And then this picture, or my two aunts. One of them called Rachel, after which my youngest daughter Isabel Rachel is named after her. She carries her name. Anyway, there we go. Some pictures. This is a document from 1945 which was put together by the Dutch government, and it contains a list of names and family relationships, all in all about 200 people who died. So this is all that remains. Then, as a name printed on a piece of paper, who they were, who their family were, and that is my memory of my family. It makes me understand better who I am as a person. It makes me understand better why or how I react to situations, and it gives me an emotional understanding of the importance of the continuation of life itself. And and certainly when I became a parent, these are kind of incredibly important things that we do live through our future and through our children, and our history is always alive. Whether we think about it or not, it's always alive into the future.